Welcome to the superstar interview with the famous Becky King from Southern Maryland. We've been working together for, I guess it's almost 3 years now, Becky, right?
Yes, I think it's been just about 3 years, three
It's
awesome years.
awesome years. One of my very, very, very favorite clients. And we're going to talk today. Becky is super successful. She did how many deals last year?
I did 65 deals last year,
65 deals, and your goal this year is?
is over 100.
And the remarkable thing is that for the most part, Becky does this. These are her deals individually. So tell us about how long you've been in the business and what was your evolution? Did you start out doing 65 deals right away?
No, so I've been in the business since 2004, and that was right when the market started to shoot up. So I had a really good first year for a first timer. I only did 10 deals, but then that second year I only did 3. So I've gradually gone up, but I really didn't shoot up until I started coaching with you.
Wow. So really, you were doing pretty good right before me, though. How many deals right before me?
I would say I was averaging somewhere between 30 to 40 deals,
Uh-huh.
but I was excited to even hit the $100,000 GCI mark back then. And that was just, oh, I really am doing so good. So
And I know that, when we first started coaching, um, like money was more of an issue, worried about money. And now, I mean, we all worry about money, right? But from time to time, but like it's different for you now, isn't it?
it is. Back when we first started, I had a lot of debt, which I've paid down. Um, and I was living like I needed the next deal. Like if the next deal didn't go through, that was devastating. It wasn't like, oh well, there's the next one. And I feel like I finally have gotten to that point in life, and every single bit of money that I make isn't just surviving and paying off. Now I'm able to I bought a rental property last year, and I'm just getting ready to buy another one this year. And I never thought I'd be able to do that either.
I know that is so exciting. And you know what? Does it make you a better real estate agent not to worry so much about the next deal?
Yes, I feel like they don't sense desperation because yeah, it's like I feel like I'm a little bit calmer. I've even noticed other agents and people that are around me all the time say, I feel like you're just calmer now than you used to be. Why aren't you stressed out? You're just as busy, if not busier. Why aren't you stressed?
Yeah. And that's what my joke with you is like when we get on the call and I know how much business you're doing and you just seem like, you're just as relaxed as ever, right?
I know. It's almost like feels like something's wrong because I'm not stressed out.
Exactly. I know it's a way of life. I can go there, understand exactly what you're saying. So, I mean, I say coaching is great and all that. And I know that, coaching has made a big difference for you, but think about where you were. What did you do differently, um, in your day-to-day operation? What do you think made the difference in you doubling your production?
I think it's a couple things. I think just like the natural flow of, okay, you've been in the business this long, you're starting to get repeat business. But I think a big thing is I had really in the beginning dropped the ball on that, not just getting the repeat business of this was my past client, but making sure that people know that I want their referrals, I think is huge. And then so day to day, reaching out to people, whether it was on social media or texting or calling them. I hated calling. I hate cold calls, but calls to my sphere are pretty easy because I mean, you always have something to say to them. So I think just blocking out time to do that every day that I can. The busier I am, I can tell I've been more consistent with that because that's where the money's at.
So like numbers, as we always talk about, Tom Ferry says it's that real estate is a numbers game.
Yes.
I think you made progress with your past clients, you built your past clients, you stayed in touch with them, you did a great job on the transaction, but why do they keep coming back to you? What's your secret? You know, a lot of people have the same thing, but they don't have as big a following as you. Is it social media? Is it just what is it?
Um, I mean, I think part of it is social media because I try to keep myself front and center with them and not like real estate. It's not like, buy with me, sell with me. Here's what I just listed. Here's what I just sold. Those are good and those are important. But I think it's like I just went on a listing appointment the other day and I had never met these people. It was a referral. And I think that they thought that I was going to come in there and rip their house apart because it did need some work and, um, you know, push them to do what I wanted them to do. And I think the difference is because I'm not pushy, they were both so relieved and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. We picked the right person. You told us what to do, but you didn't, bust us up over it and that kind of thing. And I think that's what it is because it's like, if you want to sell your house, that's okay. And if you don't want to sell your house, that's okay too.
I love it, love it, love it. Would you say that you're the same person um, when you're with a client? Do you do, or are you just authentic?
Um, I think that more now than ever, I'm the same person, but at the same time that I am like just me, but at the same time, you also have to like, I guess, know your audience. So you can't be the same person for everybody because everybody needs you to kind of it's not being fake. It's just being a little bit different where you can kind of sense when people are like, some people want to be sold. It's like, what do you got? I want to buy everything. And then other people are just going to curl up in a ball and block you if you try to sell them.
So I just was talking with another client and we were having the same discussion. She feels that she, as a salesperson, can adjust to whoever that person is and go with that person. Um,
Yes.
like if a person is analytical, you're not going to push them into making a decision and they need data. You're going to give them the data and
Yep.
you almost like naturally do that. Is that right?
Yes. I think you just have to be whoever they need you to be. You got to figure it out by just kind of listening and watching and getting the vibe. And then if they're analytical, you just got to throw in the word spreadsheet and you're in.
I love it. I love it. Well, you know what makes me love to have on my coaching calls with you is that I always know you're going to be authentic and you're going to be the real Becky and you're not going to, I don't have to worry about what I say or what I do. And that's probably the way your clients feel as well.
Yes. Yes. That I try to do that to where it's okay. We all have ugly and that's okay.
So like, do you think for the most part that you're a positive person?
I do. I think just like anybody else, I get myself all worked up but I think the difference between now and before is if I got into a funk, it would just be a funk forever. But now I feel like I'm at a place where I'm like, okay, why do I feel this way? Why are you acting this way? And then I can pull myself out of it.
So catching yourself sooner when you go into a negative spiral and being able to shift that.
Yes. Instead of being like, nope, I'm in a bad mood or I'm angry and I'm just going to be angry in a bad mood for the rest of the day, maybe the rest of the week. I don't know. But now it's just like,
Is
all
that
right,
a
stop.
learned behavior? Because I can remember early on in my career, like, and I guess like over 30 years ago, that everything was so serious, if something fell through, I mean, that would be like a week in bed, right? And now
Right.
next, it's like, do you think you learn that, like learn to be more resilient?
I do. I think it's like when you're a little kid and like something that's nothing just becomes this huge thing in your mind. And then as you get older, you realize those things were nothing. And I think that you do that even as an adult, the things that you thought were just like, this is going to end me. It's like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? Okay, well, if that happens, all right.
What do you think makes Becky be able to do 63 deals and another agent that's been in the business just as long as you is doing 5 deals? And they want to do 63 deals, but they
Well, I would say having the accountability of having the coach every week for sure, because you know you've got to do what you got to do because you're going to be talking to somebody in 7 days. So
Mhm.
7 days is enough that you need that accountability. But then the other thing is getting organized, having a system, and then having people that are helping you out because you can't be everywhere at once.
We probably hadn't had this discussion before. I know we talked about our goals for next year, and we talk about 5 years down the road, but what about 10 years down the road? Are you retired? Where are you?
I don't, sometimes I talk to my husband about that. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, I want to retire. And he's like, you're never going to do that. You're never going to just not be able to do anything. And I understand. And I do agree with him on that. I think working less, being able to enjoy life more, and then maybe, but having a team that's doing the work. And I'm just kind of overseeing that. But I'll always show houses and list houses, and I can't imagine not doing that. I just love it.
You love it. So do you really do love it? So like when you're at a listing appointment and when you're showing properties, you love it.
I do, as long as it's not mean people. And I think that's part of arriving to a point where if somebody is mean or you're just not vibing, you don't have to still work with them. It's okay to not work with them. And I think that's a nice place to be, is just, no, I just don't think we're a good fit. Whereas before it'd be like, I gotta just cry it out and work with you.
There was a guy, his name was Walter Sanford, and anybody who's been around would probably know his name, like 30 years ago or so. And he was interviewed. He was Mike Ferry, Tom's dad, used to bring him up on stage because he was the only one at that time 30 years ago doing 50 deals, and everybody else was doing a lot less. And they asked him what was the biggest secret of his success, and he said I don't work with weenies anymore. So he could pick and choose, and
Yes.
he didn't take that that abuse. And I think of another guy who's doing 300 deals, and he said the same thing. He said, if somebody calls and complains, he says, it sounds like you've lost confidence in me. I think, maybe we're not a good fit anymore. It didn't make him feel like he was not doing right anymore. He just became more confident in his ability. And I think that's what you're kind of saying too. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's what it is. It's like before, if somebody, had a complaint or wasn't happy with me about something, I was second guessing myself. But it's also because, I don't feel like I had the skill set either at times for different things.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, you know, it's okay. I know that nobody else tried harder than I did, that kind of thing.
So it's confidence. It's your confidence
Yes.
as built,
Mm-hmm.
and you know that you can do the job, and you're happy with the kind of service you give. And if somebody doesn't appreciate it, so what, right?
Right. Exactly. Yep.
So in your business, looking at your business of 63 deals, and I always say that's a lot of deals for one person. And I know that your mom helps you out a lot, and that you also have a buyer's agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are your plans for the future? And you mentioned 10 years down the road having a team. Do you have any, and we talk about clarity in our goals. And I think that it's hard for people to really get clear down the road. Like, what do I really want down the road? I've got this now. These are the problems. But if you got clarity down the road, and it was working the way it was, that you were able to work with the people you wanted, you were making the money coming in, what would it look like?
Um, what would my life look like in the 10 years?
What would your business look like? Would you have 5 people on the team?
Nah, I don't think I would have 5 people on the team. I think that I would do like maybe one or two. Well, then that kind of adds up to five. Like one or two that are doing listings, maybe two to three, depending on how much business I have, that are working with buyers. And then somebody that's just kind of running everything, and then an admin kind of person.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, where do those 63 deals come from? They come from your past clients and Spear, I know. Where else do they come from?
So they also come from, and this is one of the things that, I never did until you and I started working together, was calling on expireds. And that gave me a real boost. I think when I started calling expireds, it made me, first of all, it made me stop being afraid of the phone, not just with people that I didn't know, with people I did know. But then that gave me the boost to be able to say, okay, I took a house that somebody else couldn't sell and did it. And I got a lot of business from that, just not only from the actual expired listing that I got, but from showing other people what I could do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
How has your business changed since COVID? And also, how has the expired market changed?
Well, at first, at very first, it was a little bit slower, of course, but then, people just, I think everybody kind of realized where they were at. They were staying home, or they wanted to make a move. I know right now we're in this weird market where there's a shortage of inventory. So I think in my mind, originally I was thinking, well, there's no point in calling expireds, because anybody that's, you know, wants to sell can sell. But I have been calling expireds, mine and others that are like old expireds. And that's where I've been getting listings from, because people, I think as real estate agents and anybody in the real estate field, we just assume that other people know what's happening. And then you call people and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I could get that much for my house right now. And then they will sell, or even not even expireds, but people that are landlords.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So for me, it's a fun time because it's good news. So you're calling the old expireds with telling them, hey, you couldn't get 500 for it last year, but now you can,
exactly.
and you're calling people with, your home was worth 600 last year and now it's worth 650 or whatever the circumstances. So it's a fun time for me, because of that good news. And
Yes.
on a listing, for my whole career, it seems like I spent time trying to get people to take the price down. And now, that I can kind of push the price a little bit because of the inventory. Do you find
Right.
yourself?
Yes. Yep. It's always fun to tell people that they're going to make more money than they would have. And then if it's multiple out offers, or they get more than what the list price is, that's always fun too, is that, oh, not only did you get more than you thought, you got even more than you
Yeah,
thought.
exactly. So are you having any challenges with COVID, like say the appraisals, if multiple offers, any challenges that you're facing right now?
Definitely appraisals, but I have gotten, so that's the first thing I do, is I prepare my seller. We can offer, the highest offer isn't necessarily the best one, because that appraisal might not come in. And then the other thing is, if we do accept a higher offer, we need to have the conversation already in place. What is your plan as the buyer if it doesn't appraise? Because we don't want to put it back on the market. We don't want to have to do that, because then everybody puts this, stigmatizes that property, that something must be wrong with it. That, and then these poor buyers, man, they're just getting put through the ringer. There's just one property comes on the market and 10 buyers are already putting in offers before they even see it. And you have to be perfect in order to get, to be the one that gets chosen as the buyer.
So this year, as we move into 2021, is your business more listings or buyers?
I definitely more listings, and that's mostly because I'm handing my buyers off to my buyer's agent. I've never had a buyer's agent before. So Trish has been working buyers for me. And I'm finding that she can't work them all, and that's okay. So I keep some and then I give her some.
Gotcha. And the listings, so you have a good many listings right now, right? Or
I do. I have 8 listings right now, and I have 11 that are coming soon. Which, I'm trying to get these people off of coming soon and actually on the market, because, and this is just me speculating, I do think every year, no matter what year it is, spring is always the popular time to list. So I feel like that's one of the things that I'm telling these people is, and really it's almost, March is next week. So get your house listed before, because I don't want them to start chasing the market back down either.
Exactly. Yeah. So most people are struggling to get one listing. How did you get those coming soons? Where did source on them?
What, it's all referral, or me calling expireds, or me going through, Tom did during the elite retreat. He said something about he wanted us all to go through our contacts. So every single person that we have in our phone. So it's helped me, because every day I'll go in there and I'll, start with a section and I'll clean it up, first of all, because the contacts were a mess. But then I'm reaching out to those people in some way, shape, or form. And I've been getting a lot of business that way. People just, hey, I just want to let you know it's a crazy seller's market right now, and people are thinking about selling and moving somewhere. And I honestly feel like going through those contacts after the elite retreat has really pushed me over the edge with that.
Do you use scripts, or do you just be your beautiful, wonderful self?
I would say I don't use scripts like where I have something in front of me, but I do use things that I've learned, like from objections and stuff like that kind of thing. There's things that I say now that I learned through, coaching, or just actually doing it in the past, that I wouldn't have before. And usually I would just, like, if they said, no, I'm not interested, I would have just said, okay, cool. But now I feel like I keep the conversation going a little bit more, and then the no turns into a maybe or a yes without being pushy.
Yeah. So it's experience where you learn what to say. So you kind of use the scripts because you're taking what you've learned that they said in the past and using that to move them forward. Good, good. What is it, if your goal for this year is how many deals?
100.
So if you do 100 deals, what do you think you'll have to do differently this year? I mean, I know Trish is a part of that already.
Yes. So the 100 deals is not including Trish's deals. So whatever Trish gets is kind of like bonus for me. I want to do 100 strictly on my own. And what I need to do differently is I need to organize my time a little bit better. I probably need to bring one more person in that's going to do all the little silly things that I don't need to do. And, my contact list, I'm still only in the C's, but it's going to run out. So I've got to, find other ways I need to, every one of these listings that I'm getting, I need to push it, elevate it, get as many deals and contacts as I can out of each one of those.
Gotcha. So I was just listening to an agent that was doing an interview with Tom, and she said she goes on, when she takes a listing, she knocks on the doors. I guess she does it during COVID with her mask, 10 doors one way and 10 doors the other way. How do you, since you got all these coming soon homes coming up, how could you leverage those listings?
I'm such not a door knocker. I don't know. That's probably the last thing that I need to just get over the hurdle on. But I still think it's a great time to have an open house, and you think you can do that safely. In my area, you're allowed to do it and there's definitely a safe way to do it. But I think just inviting the neighbors over to see the house, because they do love to just be nosy, and then having a conversation with them, letting them know how much the house is going to be going for, and then they start talking about it. So I think is inviting the whole neighborhood to an open house event is something people want to get out of the house, and they want to be nosy, and they want to see what other
I
things are
love
going
that. So you could just do it on the phone, and you could
on.
reach people probably than the door knocking anyway.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and then that's a great idea. So back to your personality and your style and why you're successful and somebody else is doing the 5 deals, right? Are you competitive?
I am. I don't think I realized how competitive I was, because, and I think that's changed once so I was always just like somewhere in the middle in my company. And then that first year that I got, top out of the whole company, I didn't realize how much that meant to me and how much I wanted to stay on top. So I find myself watching the other people in my company that are close, like they better not be, So I think, and then I think just that gives me that little push that I need. I'm not so focused on them that it's like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? I got to do better, kind of thing. But it's just enough that I just don't want that other guy to get there ahead of me, that
It's
it
like a
makes
little
me
game.
push.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Because I know you love little games and competitive things, and I know you don't like to lose. I know that about
No,
you.
I
So
don't.
do you lose many listings, or are you in competition with others? Um, do you get the listings when you're in competition? I don't think for the most part, you get a lot of people just calling you and it's a slam,
Mhm.
right?
Yes. And so I think that's another thing that really made me polish is when I started going on listing appointments where it wasn't somebody that I knew, or if it was an expired and other people were also going out and talking to them. When I didn't get the listing, I'm like, what do you mean I didn't get the listing? How do you not love me? What is happening? So that really, I would ask the people, I'm like, I completely respect but please tell me, what was it that pushed you over to the next person? What is it that, not even that I could have done better, but differently? Um, just because, and I think that has helped me being able to say, okay, obviously I did or did not do something. So what was it? And usually people will tell you. And then after that, just making sure, because I think because I was going to so many appointments where I already kind of knew that I had the listing, it was just a formality. It made me really say, okay, you've got to go in there on your A game. You can't just be complacent and think, oh, I've got this. You've got to show them what they want to do, what they want to hear, show them what they want to know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, good, good, good. Tell us about your family, because I know you have a big family. Does that distract you from real estate, or you want to spend more time with them? How does that interplay with real estate?
Well, I think that's one of the reasons that I'm doing more now than ever before is my husband and I have 5 kids. And when I first started in real estate, they were all very small. The youngest one is now 18. And, we have one that's moved out of the house. She's on her own. She's 25. And then I have one in New York City that's in college. And then 3 boys are here at home. 2 are online in college, and then the one is doing his senior year of high school. But I mean, I would love to spend more time with them, but I mean, I'm an old lady. They don't want to spend time with me.
So you've
So the
got
goal, yeah,
yeah,
the
more
goal is
time.
yeah. So the goal is 10 years from now, when I start having grandkids, I can go back to not working so much, but I need to work now when, I mean, I'm there if they need me, but they don't really need me, you
Mhm,
know?
mhm, mhm. So the why is um, not so much to spend time with them, although that's important, but like maybe to take time off or vacations or
Right. When they do want to spend time with me, I'm able to do that. But the biggest why right now is all these kids in college. That's expensive. So my goal is that none of them have any student debt when they get out.
Fantastic. Great, great,
Yep.
great. Great. Well, that is a good way to end our conversation with that. And I wanted to thank you so much for being such a wonderful client, as well as doing this interview. And then my last question is, what advice do you have to somebody just new coming into the business with no deals? What would you do if you were just starting now?
Somebody coming new to the business with no deals, I would say the first thing to do is send out something in the actual mail to everybody that you know, announcing that you're a real estate agent. Social media start showing day to day. You just need to go tour everybody else's house and talk about real estate. And then eventually, it'll start picking up, and that's how you go from there.
Yeah,
Make it
and
known.
I just had the same conversation with someone else, and your first place to start is people you know. And so, but what about if you if you were new and you decided you're going to move to Florida and you knew no one, and then you had retired from your career and you decided to go into real estate, what would you do?
If that was the case, I would well, if I had kids, I'd make sure that everything that my kids are involved in, I was there present for that. I would join a gym, I would join clubs, things of interest, and just let people know, you know, organically that I'm a real estate agent.
I love it, love it, love it, love it. What's interesting is the people that are successful always look for ways to do the business rather than complain about, I'm new, I don't know anyone. You know,
Right.
your first thought was like, your mind spinning, what would I do? And I think that positive uh, persona is something that I notice in everybody that I coach that's successful. They're always looking for ways to improve, which you've talked about repeatedly on the interview. And they're always looking for ways to do something rather than to not do it.
Yes. Yep. Figure out a way to do it.
Yeah. Do you do, I know you do goals. Do you do any kind of uh, gratitude, visualization?
In the morning, I have, if you've ever read the book Miracle Morning, there's a set of things that he wants you to do every morning, and it can take like 1 minute per thing, but just visualizing, picturing what you're going to do that day, jotting down a couple of ideas that you're going to do, try to either read or listen to a podcast, something new, and just getting your mind focused first thing in the morning. And if you can, exercise first thing in the morning too, and then go on with your day.
Love
Just
it.
getting your
Love it.
mind ready first thing in the morning. Yep.
Yeah. So mindset is a critical part for sure.
Yes. Yep. Definitely.
Well, Becky King, thank you so much. And we will be talking to you again. And thanks so much for the interview.
Okay. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.